This is Leo Cloutier with Malice to None. It's indeed a pleasure to have as our guest here today one of the outstanding goaltenders in the National Hockey League, a member of the Stanley Cup champion Boston Bruins. I'd like to welcome to our show once more Ed Johnston. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you, Leo.
Ed, it's certainly a pleasure to have as our guest here today. Since I last saw you and had the pleasure to talk to you, you achieved the ultimate in hockey, the greatest trophy there is to be won, the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, last year I think everybody played so well for our club, and it's quite an honor. Greatest thrill I ever had in my life, and I think we're looking forward to pick up another one this year, Leo.
It looks as though you're well on your way. Ed, you were quite a contributing factor to the great successful year of the Bruins of 1969 and 1970. If I remember correctly, you chalked up two successive shutouts at the expense of the Montreal Canadiens and the Chicago Blackhawks, two of the top teams in the league.
Well, that was right near the end, Leo, when we had a stretch run there, and Jerry got hurt, and I got a chance to play a lot more, and I got my timing pretty good, and we played two big games. We beat Montreal 2-0, and we tied Chicago 0-0 in Chicago, which were big, important games for our club.
And Ed, speaking of shutouts, back in 1960 and 61, that season, you had a record of 11 shutouts in that season, and they earned a goal average, so to speak, of 2.67, which was a tremendous season. Where were you playing at that time?
I was in the Montreal chain at the time, and I was playing with Hull, Ottawa. But in that year was one of them years everything was going good for you, and our club, we had a powerful hockey club, and I was fortunate to pick up 11 shutouts.
Eddie, as a member of the Boston Bruins, you are one of the veterans, so to speak, along with Johnny Busick, Eddie Westfall, and Teddy Green, and I guess you're next in line in seniority, am I right?
Yeah, I think Teddy's got 11 years, Eddie Westfall's got 10, and Chief Nashley's got 14 or 15, and I'm next in line with 9.
You've been a member of this great organization all that time. Ed, the winning of the Stanley Cup has to be the greatest thrill you've enjoyed so far.
Oh, no question about it, Leo. I think some guys, like a fellow like Gadsby, played 20 years in the league and on great clubs, and he never had a chance to win the Stanley Cup. So winning the Stanley Cup was the biggest thrill I ever had.
And Eddie, it didn't come easy.
No, nothing ever comes easy in this game. But our club was keyed up, and we hit a hot streak right near the end of the season, and I think we went into the playoffs in peak condition, and that was a big thing why we won.
Eddie, 2 or 3 years ago, you had the good fortune of meeting a young airline stewardess, if I remember correctly, and you have since made her Mrs. Ed Johnston.
Yeah, I met my wife about 2.5, 3 years ago. With Bobby introduced me to her, and we've been married, and we're expecting a little baby in March.
Isn't that tremendous? I imagine you're hoping for a goaltender.
Well, I don't really care, Leo, to be truthful, as long as it's healthy.
Ed, if someone was to ask you, what does a goaltender need in the way of attributes, what are the requisites to become a major league goaltender, what would you tell them?
It's a funny thing, but the most important thing is skating. I think the better skater you are, Leo, the better balance you'll have. I think that's what's caused a lot of young goalkeepers having trouble today coming into the National League, is they don't work on their skating. They work on cutting the angles, which is very important too. But I think skating is probably the most important thing, because the better skater you are, the better balance you're going to have getting up and down off the ice and that.
Well, Eddie, I certainly want to thank you very much for being my guest here today, and I want to wish you and your fine family worlds of luck, and as far as your hockey days are concerned, another Stanley Cup championship and many more to come.
Thank you very much, Leo.
Thank you, Eddie. This was an interview with Eddie Johnston, star goaltender of the Stanley Cup champion Boston Bruins, and this brings us to the end of With Malice to None for today. Until tomorrow at the same time, Leo Cloutier. Good day.
Brought to you by PosterFix. At PosterFix, we bring your vintage posters back to life. To learn more about Leo Cloutier's sports world, visit leocloutier.com.